the Kool Moe Dee started? How did that start? Because it seems like LL. You might not start it, but you definitely finished it.
Well, I said on the record, I said I'm only 18 making more than your pops, and he felt offended by that.
What? The more than 18.
Making more than your pops. And he was offended because he thought it was the wrong message.
Because he was making more than his pops.
Well, no, he thought I was sending a bad message to young kids out there.
In the mid to late 1980s, when beats were raw, rhymes were rugged, and MCs battled for supremacy, two great titans had a legendary clash. Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J had a generational showdown as the old school Kool Moe Dee met the next gen LL Cool J. They went head to head, making for some memorable times in the culture. It was a clash of styles, generations, and egos, with unforgettable diss tracks and heated interviews. Respect was earned, and legends were made. So today, we're going to break down what really happened with LL and Kool Moe Dee.
On the mic at this time, the coolest of the cool, they call me Moe Dee. In the place to be, Jam Master J. 1 for the treble, 2 for the bass. Come on, Jam Master, let's rock the place.
Old school meets new school. Kool Moe Dee, born in New York City in 1962, was an early hip-hop pioneer. He made his name with the sensational music group Treacherous 3.
Check out the rhyme, well it's a sure shot, more shot. Party people gonna rock the spot until the KOOLMOE. And don't you forget the DEE. He's Kool Moe Dee to the highest degree. Rocking the world and the society until the SU and the SHINE sunshine at the TOP. A special KAA all day.
These guys were one of the genre's originators of the late 1970s. His intricate rhyming and fast-paced delivery helped him stand out in the competition, and by 1986, he was already a successful solo artist. LL Cool J, on the other hand, was born as James Todd Smith in 1968. He grew up in Queens and got signed very early. He was barely 16 when Def Jam Recordings took him in.
I looked at every record that looked or sounded like it might be rap or related to that type of music, and I wrote all the addresses to all those record labels down, and then I sent tapes to all those labels. I used to call Rick every day. I even remember the message. This is Rick, not here right now, leave a message. Boop.
Me and Adam Horovitz from the Beastie Boys heard it and really loved it.
He called back, so I went crazy, and it was like unbelievable.
He came to the dorm and I had a meeting with him, and we kind of liked each other and shook hands and decided we were going to start making records together.
Being from a younger and newer generation of hip-hop, he had a cocky attitude and a denser sound in comparison to his predecessors. The mid to late 80s was a wild time for hip-hop. The genre was still trying to find its voice. We had heavyweights like Run DMC and Public Enemy, who were making waves with their hard-hitting beats. And then there was Rakim, who was revolutionizing the game with his smooth flow and complex rhyme schemes. The culture was all about competition, and MCs were constantly trying to outdo each other in every way possible. At this point, beef was inevitable. A beef for the ages. This clash wasn't just about who had the better bars. It was old school versus new school. Things got heated in May 1987 after LL Cool J sang, "I'm only 18 making more than your pops" in his song, The Doo-Wop. A very audacious statement, but Kool Moe Dee didn't just sit back and watch. Bro gave him a run for his money. LL Cool J's style was aggressive, self-assured, and unapologetic. But Kool Moe Dee wasn't feeling it, and cause the big homie was one of the respected voices in the early days, he decided to speak up. He clapped back with a direct shot at LL in his song, How You Like Me Now. He criticized LL's arrogance and questioned his respect for hip-hop's roots.
I'm bigger and better, forget about deafer. Every time I rock the mic, I left a stain in your brain that will remain.
Even the album cover was a diss. Behind Kool Moe Dee was a white Jeep crushing LL's red Kangol hat, which was his signature swag at the time. KMD made it clear that he didn't see LL as an actual threat, and he outrightly put him in his place. LL fired back the next year with Jack the Ripper. This diss track was carefully written for Kool Moe Dee.
How you like me now? I'm getting busier. I'm double platinum. I'm watching you get dizzier. Check out the way I say my, display my, play my. J on the back, behind the cool without the AY.
He used his fast-paced, aggressive flow to show KMD that he wasn't afraid of him and was ready to go head on. Amidst many interviews and public appearances of both artists constantly throwing shade at one another, Kool Moe Dee dropped another diss track, Let's Go, in 1987. This time, he didn't even bother talking about LL's cockiness and disrespect. Nah, this time around, he took it a step higher. He called him out for his lack of originality.
Trying to be me, now LL stands for a lower level. Lackluster, last, least, limp, lover, lousy, lame, late, lethargic, lazy, lemon, little, logic, lucky, leech, liver, lip, laborious, louse on the loser's list.
LL Cool J responded with To the Break of Dawn in 1990, which was another famous track that added to the history of this feud in hip-hop culture in the early 90s.
Give me that microphone, I'ma show you the real meaning of the danger zone. Stop dancing, get to walking, shut your old mouth when young folks is talking.
In the track, he didn't only take shots at Kool Moe Dee, but also at Ice-T and MC Hammer. LL Cool J already had an ongoing beef with Ice-T after shots were fired in his 1989 track, I'm Your Pusher. Ice-T implied that LL Cool J was all commercial success and had zero lyrical substance. So LL gave him a piece of his mind into The Break of Dawn. MC Hammer found himself in LL's crosshairs at the time as well. LL dissed Hammer's commercial success as superficial and crowned himself as the real MC. These guys were clearly pushing each other back into the studio, and a piece of history was born as they never held back when roasting each other. Before Kool Moe Dee started beefing with LL Cool J actively, he was already popular in the rap battle scene for going up against Busy B Starsky, and that feud was major. It sort of set the tone for his reputation as a fierce competitor who didn't shy away from a lyrical showdown. So when he started beefing with LL, everyone already had high expectations. Then, in 1995, LL releases the remix of I Shot Ya from his 6th album, Mr. Smith. In his verse, he claims to have defeated all his rap rivals, including Kool Moe Dee, effectively marking the end of their public feud.
What the I thought I conquered the world, cause Moe Dee, Hammer, and Ice-T's girl. But still, brothers wanna instigate. I battle any brother in the rap game quick. Name the spot, I make it hot for your missus. Female rappers too, I don't give a bull.
Kool Moe Dee and LL didn't beef with each other in tracks alone. They had issues everywhere. They both enjoyed using the media to air their grievances and jab each other's credibility.
It's about unity, not dividing the community. It's not about degrading another human being or disrespecting them. It's about educating them and bringing them out of the darkness into the light. That's what the little kids need to see. That's what the youth needs to hear. Because you would never hear me disrespect or degrade another human being on my record ever again.
Many times in interviews, Kool Moe Dee will trash talk LL for not respecting the contributions of earlier artists, for stealing his style, and even accusing him of being all about image with no substance to show for it. LL brushed off the criticism as whining from someone who just couldn't keep up with the new generation. He often joked about Kool Moe Dee being jealous and holding on to a spotlight that was clearly fading. The beef wasn't deadly or life-threatening, however. The fact of the matter is that this was a time when hip-hop was being elevated and pushed forward by these feuds. The feud was largely conducted through music, with each artist claiming victory in their own right. The rivalry showcased the lyrical prowess and competitive spirit in the hip-hop culture during the 1980s and 1990s. Those diss tracks became huge hits, and the albums became a bestseller. The aftermath. As time went on, the two rap stars settled their beef and buried their hatchets. LL Cool J even told Kool Moe Dee that he's always been a fan since day one.
Kool Moe Dee is in the building, who I listened to. I used to stare at his records as a little kid, dreaming of what it would be like to be able to make an album, make a record, to get into music and to do my thing. So Mo, I appreciate you and thank you for that, for this thing that you started. I'm a day one fan.
On the bright side, they seemed to be an inspiration to each other because their beef helped each one reach new heights, and some of their best works were diss tracks. By the early 90s, the beef burnt out, and its intensity started to wind down, just as the East Coast-West Coast rivalry emerged. During the early 1990s, hip-hop began to evolve rapidly. New sounds and new MCs started to rise, while LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee gradually faded from the spotlight. They both had successful careers, and Mo earned himself quite the reputation as one of the genre's greatest forefathers. LL Cool J also went on to become one of hip-hop's biggest stars. He's still making music today, and he's put the past behind him. He even makes jokes about it now. This age-old beef was one for the history books, and it's always nice to go back to the classics. For those of you old enough to remember this clash, who was your pick back then? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And if you're still looking for more, check these other videos out. Help us in the algorithm by liking, sharing, and commenting. And subscribe to the channel for new content every week. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.